Your Excellency, Mrs. Dylan Isilkos-Sigirius, Minister of Justice and Security, Madam Hester van Buren, Deputy Mayor of Amsterdam, Mrs. Christine Safari, President of IGIHE Netherlands, Excellencies, Ambassadors, Heads of Mission and International Organization, members of the Diplomatic Corps, dear Virginie, dear survivors of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, dear compatriots and friends of Rwanda, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I thank you all for accepting our invitation to be with us on a Sunday to commemorate for the 30th time the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. I particularly thank the officials here present for laying a wreath at the Genocide Memorial at Beatrix Park this morning to honor more than 1 million children, men, and women who were killed in just 100 days in 1994 in Rwanda for the only crime of being born Tutsi. This 30th commemoration of such a devastating tragedy is an important milestone. In 1994, 1 Rwandan out of 8 was brutally killed. And today, in 2024, 2/3 of Rwandans were born after the genocide. This anniversary is therefore a generational turning point. While the work of healing and justice should continue, we have now a bigger responsibility of education and preservation of memory for the young generations in Rwanda and in the whole world. Indeed, the history of humanity has shown that the crime of genocide is attached neither to a particular culture nor to a specific era, as it was committed on several continents against different groups of people and in different periods of time. Even as we speak, in this 21st century, in our region and beyond, people are under threat of extermination. Therefore, genocide is a human phenomenon, and memory, education, and lessons learned from our tragic past are of paramount importance if we want to build a better future and a better world. I therefore call on all of you to consider including lesson of the genocide against the Tutsi in the schools of your respective countries to raise this awareness. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, as you may know, this commemoration is not a Rwandan day only. It's the International Day of Reflection on the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda, as adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in a resolution of December 2003, reaffirmed in April 2020. The theme of the commemoration remains the same. As you can see, remember, unite, renew. We remember our loved ones slain during the genocide. We unite as a healed and reconciled people, and we renew as a society that thrives for socioeconomic transformation, good governance, and self-reliance. As we mark the 30th anniversary of the genocide, it is important to recall, Madam Minister, that since 1994, the Kingdom of the Netherlands played a critical role in putting Rwanda's judiciary back on its feet. That judicial cooperation with Rwanda was particularly successful on 3 main fronts. First, the reparation, the building, and equipment of our judicial infrastructure. The courtrooms were built, repaired, and so on and so forth. Second, the training of the much needed judicial personnel. They were trained in Rwanda, but also here in the Netherlands, because we had, among the victims of the genocide, there were lawyers, there were prosecutors, there were judges, and there also we had refugees in Congo who which included also those particular professions. So Netherlands was really instrumental in training the judicial personnel. And third, the investigation, extradition, and prosecution of genocide fugitives who fled to the Netherlands. There are a number of them who were prosecuted here, others were extradited to Rwanda. So Rwanda will forever be grateful to the Kingdom of the Netherlands for this successful cooperation, and we pledge to continue working with the Dutch government to hold accountable the remaining fugitives, because they are still are, as Madame Christine Safari said, in order to definitely turn that page of our history. I take this opportunity to also express my gratitude to the International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda, ICTR, which will mark its 30th anniversary in November this year, as well as the International Residual Mechanism for Criminal Tribunals, based here in The Hague, for the tremendous work they have done in prosecuting the masterminds of the genocide, despite a few challenges and some disappointing decisions. In this regard, I once again call on the countries that are yet to do so to help us in prosecuting the remaining genocide fugitives based on the more than 1,000 indictments that Rwanda sent to 34 different countries. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi was planned and committed by an extremist regime based on an extremist ideology. But this crime, the genocide, was, however, enabled by the failure of the international community, mainly the UN Security Council. However, it is important to note that in the heat of the genocide, the position of New Zealand, Nigeria, and the Czech Republic was outstanding. Those countries used their non-permanent seat in the UN Security Council to speak up and press for the Council to take action. Permanent representatives Colin Keating of New Zealand and Ibrahim Gambari of Nigeria put forward separate resolutions calling for greater military deployment by the UN and for the troops to be given a mandate to save civilians. Ambassador Karel Kovanda of the Czech Republic, who is now in Kigali, joined the calls for greater action and was also the very first person to use the term genocide within the Security Council to describe the tragedy that was unfolding. These few voices did what they could to raise the alarm with a world that had chosen to stay quiet and inactive in the face of such a tragedy. However, outstanding countries did not operate from New York only. Here I pay tribute to the contingent of the Republic of Ghana in the UN peacekeeping operation in Rwanda during the genocide, which, against the Security Council's decision to withdraw, and despite being poorly equipped and outnumbered, chose to stay in the country and protect thousands of Tutsi. In this respect, I also wish to honor a true hero, Captain Mbaye Diagne of Senegal, who refused to be a bystander in the face of evil. Armed with only courage and a sense of responsibility, he acted as a peacekeeper, as a soldier, and as a concerned human being to save lives. He alone conducted several missions through dozens of checkpoints to save up to 1,000 people during the genocide before paying the ultimate sacrifice on 31st of May 1994 at the age of 36. For his courage and bravery, Captain Mbaye Diagne was on 4th of July 2010 posthumously awarded a medal by the government of Rwanda. And on 8th of May 2014, on the initiative of Prince Zayed Rad Zayed Al Hussein, permanent representative of Jordan to the UN, whom I express my gratitude, the Security Council created the Captain Mbaye Diagne Medal for Exceptional Courage, to be awarded to UN peacekeepers who demonstrate exceptional courage in the face of extreme danger while fulfilling their duties. Unfortunately, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, 30 years after the genocide, the UN Security Council, which has the primary responsibility of maintenance of international peace and security, is still paralyzed in the face of devastating conflicts and mass atrocities. This has led to a mistrust against this organization and a gradual shift by states from New York to The Hague to seek a judicial settlement of conflicts, which would also require a political settlement. Moreover, despite the alarm raised by Mrs. Alice Wairimu Nderitu, UN Special Advisor for Genocide Prevention, on the current hate speech and persecution of the Congolese Tutsi in Eastern DRC, yet again, it seems that the world and the UN Security Council chose not to listen. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this 30th commemoration of the genocide against the Tutsi provides an opportunity for the world to reflect on the lessons of the genocide and the battle to preserve the integrity of the historical account of this crime. Indeed, there has been a concerted effort to minimize or deny the genocide using various tactics, ranging from refusing to name the group that was targeted during the genocide, questioning the number of victims, blaming them for causing the genocide, and even suggesting that a double genocide took place in Rwanda. These tactics are not new, as they have been deployed by perpetrators and deniers of other established genocides. But if we are not careful, this distortion of historical facts could be deployed across the world, turning true history into contested debate. Rwanda's history has shaped Rwandan shared identity. This is why the historical clarity about the genocide against the Tutsi is of a national and international importance. In this regard, the Genocide Memorial that was inaugurated last year at Beatrix Park, as well as all our genocide memorials in Rwanda and abroad, including the 4 that were designated last year as UNESCO World Heritage Sites, are vital to anchoring the truth, which is essential to reconciliation and renewal. I will conclude, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, by reiterating my deep appreciation to all of you for your presence today, and to your respective countries and leaders for their continued solidarity with Rwanda. Special thanks to the survivors of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi for their courage, sacrifice, and resilience. It's their dignity that gives us the strength to continue fighting for justice, fighting for memory, and fighting for the unity of the Rwandan people. I thank you.